peace comes, remember it will be for us, the children of today, to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place.
From a young girl who never expected to be queen to the longest serving monarch in British history.
This is the end of an era. I've only known the Queen.
A symbol of stability, duty, and compassion. Much loved.
We're proud of her. She is everybody's grandma.
And well respected.
She's always seemed to be above politics and above chaos.
A decades-long reign comes to an end, sending shockwaves across the world.
Better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
And we're following breaking news out of Larimer County. A wildfire burning near northwest of Fort Collins has grown to 120 acres with zero containment.
Mandatory evacuation notices have been issued for just over a dozen people living near County Road 21 and Country Road 66. An overnight shelter is being set up by the Red Cross at the Leaper Center in Wellington. We're monitoring this developing situation and will bring you any updates throughout the show.
Also tonight, a memorial growing outside of Windsor Castle honoring Queen Elizabeth II, who died today at the age of 96.
The longest serving monarch in British history has been on summer break at her estate in Scotland, joined by the royal family in her final moments. Thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Amy Wattis. We'll have the latest on Queen Elizabeth's passing coming up in just a minute. But first, the Boulder District Attorney has taken the rare step to indict parents and business owners in a case involving a teenager suspected of drunk driving and causing a crash that killed 2 people earlier this year.
Now, this case is raising the question of how we can prevent tragedies like this going forward. We've been talking to people grappling with that question. Rob Harris joins us now.
Yeah, and Jessica, one facet of this clearly is a legal question, which is who all should be held responsible when a young person is able to get alcohol and that can then get behind the wheel.
This is heartbreaking to see that this is happening.
We sat down with Jocelyn Larimer. She works with victims and families for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She says their main mission is to prevent underage drinking and impaired crashes, and that means holding those who enable them responsible. That's why she supports the DA's decision to indict in this case.
We don't see a lot of these types of cases that are pursued and prosecuted. So we really appreciate what the Boulder County DA's office has done and the diligence that they have put into this case.
Boulder Valley School District is grappling with how to prevent underage drinking and driving too. We weren't able to talk with district leaders directly, but we did get this statement to parents from BVSD Superintendent Rob Anderson. He says the district's protocol with suspected underage drinking is to pull the students aside, contact their parents, and establish a safe way to get home. Students who are found to have engaged in serious misconduct can be disciplined or suspended, and they often have law enforcement at dances and events to help manage students who seem to be using drugs or alcohol. But Dr. Anderson says it's a line they have to toe cautiously. He writes, "More forceful measures may have unintended consequences. For instance, we are aware that the measures we have already taken, including those mentioned above, have resulted in some students choosing not to attend the school event, something that is worrisome to us. In fact, we have heard of cases in which students have stayed at house parties and/or ridden around on party buses for the full evening." Now, parents and a party bus driver are among those indicted in this case. The district says it supports the DA's actions and it's time to come together as a community to keep students safe. In the studio, I'm Rob Harris. Back to you.
Rob, thank you. We have an update tonight on a police shooting in Fort Collins last week on September 2nd. Fort Collins police were called to the Brookview apartment complex near East Stewart Street and LeMay Avenue. Isaac Cordova, who was wanted on a felony warrant for burglary, was trying to escape by jumping off the balcony. Officers waiting outside caught and arrested him shortly after. When officers went into the apartment, police say Cordova's 18-year-old son, Michael Cordova, pointed a gun at police, and that's when officers shot him. He's still recovering in the hospital, but will be booked into the Larimer County Jail following for facing multiple counts of attempted murder and assault of a peace officer.
All right, live now to Buckingham Palace, where mourners have been descending since the announcement of Queen Elizabeth's passing.
People paying their respects to the longest reigning British monarch. Elizabeth's death comes after she canceled a virtual meeting Wednesday. She was last seen in public Tuesday when she swore in UK's new Prime Minister, Liz Truss.
Over a span of 70 years, the Queen kept a busy schedule of diplomatic duties, traveling across the globe more widely than any other monarch before her. Through her reign as Queen, there were 15 different UK prime ministers, 14 US presidents, and 7 popes, and she met nearly all of them.
But throughout it all, the Queen remaining the steady center of her growing family and always supported by Prince Philip, her husband of 73 years, until his death in April 2021.
The Queen's funeral will take place 10 days from now, following a national period of mourning. It will likely take place at Westminster Abbey.
As the world mourns the death of Queen Elizabeth II, British expats here in Colorado are grieving in their own ways. Sylvia Lambie left London for Denver about 5 years ago. And Sylvia says while it may be hard for some Americans to empathize, we have to look at the Queen as someone who served her people in a bipartisan way for 7 decades.
You can only respect somebody like that who has that sense of duty to their country, to their nation, to their people, to their subjects, to their citizens.
Over at GB Fish and Chips on South Broadway in Denver, people were coming in all day to have an authentic meal in honor of the Queen. Patrick Fogarty, an employee from England, questions what the future of the crown will look like now.
Everyone loves the Queen. Everyone just loves her. Like, she's always been there. She's always been cool. It's kind of when your grandma dies, you don't know what to do, kind of thing.
With the Queen's passing also comes several notable changes to British life. For instance, the national anthem is no longer God Save the Queen, but God Save the King, to reflect the passing of the crown to King Charles. Mourners could be heard singing outside of Buckingham Palace. God save the
So now the question on everyone's mind, what's next for the throne? As we mentioned, Prince Charles has immediately become king, but official ceremonies won't carry out for quite some time. Today I chatted with Martin Rhodes, who is a professor at DU's Joseph Corbell School of International Studies, and he says there's a lot that goes into preparing for a coronation ceremony, and you need a decent amount of time to pass for the ceremony to occur.
A coronation won't happen for probably some months. I think it was a year between when Queen Elizabeth became Queen and when she was, the coronation ceremony took place.
Why such a long amount of time?
I think there's just a lot of I mean, there's a huge amount of pomp and ceremony in those occasions, and I think there's just a massive amount of preparation that has to be done.
Both Charles and Camilla are expected to be crowned side by side. Charles has previously said he intends to cut back on the number of working royals who are paid with public taxpayer money.
Governor Jared Polis shared his condolences today. In a tweet, he said, Colorado celebrates and honors the life and memory of Her Royal Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, who passed today at the age of 96. She brought compassion, kindness, and dedication to her job every day and is mourned not only by her subjects, but by people across the world. Mayor Hancock also released a statement saying, through it all, she was a focal point of stability and comfort for her people in the most difficult of time and a symbol of pride and hope in the best.
Coming up at 8:30, we're taking a deeper dive into the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, including her journey to the throne and role in guiding the United Kingdom through the decades. Until then, you can catch all of our comprehensive coverage on the Queen's passing over on Denver7.com.
Out almost $7,000. That's the predicament a Lakewood woman says she's in after getting a brand new washing machine from Best Buy.
She says the third-party installation team punctured a hole in the water line connected to her washer, which caused her basement to flood, resulting in thousands of dollars in damage she's paying for out of pocket.
I talked to her after she reached out to contact Denver 7 for help.
It's been just over a month since Wendy Taylor moved into her Lakewood home. Before moving in, she bought a brand new washer and dryer. But after a mix-up during installation, she called Best Buy. A service crew from third-party company Installs NAL Group came out, which shocked Taylor. She thought actual Best Buy employees would be doing the job.
They realized that they hooked up the cold to the hot and the hot to the cold. So they pulled the washer out, they changed that, and then I watched them shove my washer back against the wall.
Taylor says the crew never tested the washer to see if it worked. When she tried to do a load of laundry, that's when the problems began.
I came back an hour later to change it, and my basement was all wet.
Water was everywhere. Taylor showed us several pictures of the damage. She called Best Buy, who she says told her to call the plumber.
He turned everything off, and he showed me the tube, which I have a picture of, and there's a puncture in it.
The plumber said she would need to get mold mitigation because the drywall, carpet, and flooring was all wet. So she called Best Buy again. This time, they told her to file a complaint with pictures of the damage to their insurance. They denied the claim.
Installs LLC, NAL Group, is not liable for the loss and does not owe you any damages related to this claim.
Determining that the hose either has a manufacturer defect or got caught on something on the wall or something else happened after it was installed. So far, Taylor paid the plumber close to $640. $1,500 for mitigation and over $3,100 for restoration.
I don't have the final bill from the restoration, but around $7,000.
It's a lot of money.
It's a very lot of money for something that I didn't do.
Denver 7 reached out to Best Buy, who said they are working directly with the customer on the issue and is working to learn more about what happened. Meanwhile, Taylor said it took about 2 weeks for everything in her basement to get cleaned up. And after having no luck from Best Buy for the past month, she got a call from them this morning.
She said, well, corporate asked us to give you a call. I would like to be fully reimbursed.
Now, Taylor says if she's not reimbursed for damages, she has two options. She can take Best Buy to small claims court or turn her claim over to her homeowner's insurance, which she'll still have to pay a premium for. I reached out to the third-party company Installs NAL Group for comment and am waiting to hear back from them.
The cold front's coming. I'll let you know how much it's going to fall as far as temperatures tomorrow and if we get any rain.
A new candidate throwing their hat in the ring to become Denver's new mayor.
This is a historic time in our city.
We're asking about her priorities for the city ahead of next year's election.
I know Denver is ready for the next female mayor.